Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends, and in today's video, we are here to talk about Alice the Wanderer. Yes, I know Alice has been out for a little while here now, since January, but there's also a lot of newer players that are starting up on the channel here, watching my videos, and I really want to kind of go into detail as to why I think that Alice should be your first 6-star level 60 character if you haven't already. And that's even before we talk about the starter character. Like, so if you start a new account, you're going to get her within 7 days. And you might have to make that decision of whether or not you want to get your starter. I hope it was Kael. Most people should be starting with Kael. But whether or not you want to get him to 60 or Alice to 60. So this video is going to be talking about both of them, but more particularly why Alice is really good and why you should be focusing on her first, in my opinion. If you find the information in this video helpful, do me a favor, please. You'd be greatly supporting the channel by clicking that subscribe button and ringing the notification bell to get all things Raid Shadow Legends here on the Boilon channel. And if you haven't started playing Raid yet, then maybe you should, because now throughout the month of March, you are going to be able to get yourself a free Legendary Supreme Gallic, a great Void Champion to start off your game if you download using the QR code on the screen or in the link in the description down below and use the promo code Supreme6. I'm going to have that on the screen here. And I also want to mention that, of course, through using the link and the QR, you are going to get yourself some freebies, including an Epic Champion Czar Gala, which is really great. And that's not all, because you will also get yourself a Epic Ugo at account level 15. And that's not all. Still, we have the Alice the Wanderer event that's still going right now for a limited time, which I believe might still be running until the beginning of April. So make sure that you start your game now and get 2 legendary free champions and 2 epic champions to start your game off. All right, so let's talk about Alice, right? Some of you may be unlocking her soon. Maybe you already have her already. And then some of you might be working towards the phase 2 of the chase still. And I want to bring this up. This is an old photo from my account when I was, when I was in my first couple of weeks of raid, and I got into this for at the Alice chase. I'm going to remove my cam box here just so you can see the full extent. So this is phase 2 of the Alice chase, where you're able to get a variety of different stuff for Alice, but namely, if you look at the bottom row here, which is essentially your 14 to 21 days typically of starting the game, or, I guess when the event went live for you. But a lot of new players are going to be jumping right into the Alice chase. And you can see some souls here for Alice, right? I call them red stars. It's already claimed, so it's not red, but you 3 red, 4 red, and 5 red, which is extremely significant. You also get 6-star accessories, legendary accessories for Alice, as well as a primal shard. So these are all really insane resources that you're getting for just playing the game. Honestly, it's super easy to do. So much so that actually I am using all of the stuff that I picked up during the event. So this is my Alice here. These are the 6-star accessories that I actually picked. Maybe I got really lucky, because I heard that the stat that you actually get from this is pretty random. But I managed to get a 6-star crit damage necklace, which I am using still here. And really great stats. My banner was an attack banner with some speed substats. So maybe I just got really lucky on some of my gear, and an attack main stat ring. Now, I'm not sure if this is predetermined, because typically gear is not predetermined when it comes to this. So again, maybe I struck it rich here, but the fact that you're getting a 5 red uh, for Alice, which is really insane for an attack-based champion, this would be significantly better than, say, the 5 red that they gave away if you've been playing for a little while. The 5 red they gave for Skeletor back in, I believe it was December. I wasn't playing during then, but I heard about that, and I saw the 5 red chase, the chase phase 2, that kind of stuff as well. So Alice has quickly become one of my best champions in my entire roster. I'm using her pretty much everywhere. The only times that I'm not using her is maybe if she's doing too much damage, that she's actually just pushing a little bit too quickly. And this would be for like Ice Golem, where if you push the percentage too fast, he's doing back-to-back swings of his retaliate, which then does a lot of damage and freezes you, summons the minions back, so on and so forth. But what I want to talk about is Alice versus Kael. Okay, so I'm talking about Kael because he probably realistically should be the starter that you pick at the beginning of the game. This is what I recommend all the time. If people ask me in videos, it's Kael. I did a video of it. Like some of my first videos on the channel was talking about Kael and why he should be your first 60 then, and then now I've had some weeks and time to play with it and understanding of why Alice is so much better. Now, here's a little bit of a caveat. Alice obviously doesn't unlock until you've played for 7 days. So if you're a new player and you're just getting started with Raid, you are going to have to wait 7 days before you unlock Alice. So in the meantime, yeah, it's perfectly fine to take Kael to 50, right? He's probably still going to be your best damage character in that time period. But let me tell you that as soon as you unlock Alice, you're gonna want to take her to 60 ASAP. The good thing is that she's already at 50, right? Like, because she's gonna unlock at a 5 star. You're gonna be able to get her to 50 right away, just like any of the other legendaries. If you started with Wukong or Supreme Gallic, who came out pretty recently as a promo code, you can take them straight up to 50. So the really difference is like, who is that 60? Is it gonna be Kael or is it gonna be Alice? Now both of my characters are geared up pretty well, and I got super lucky actually that Kael is 6 red. I got a super lucky Altar of Souls pull that allowed me to do that. And his gear is actually really good for me. Like I actually have pretty much I have a little bit more attack power than my Alice. But what I want to show you in this video is, so you need a wave clear. I talked about this, that you need a wave clear to clear campaigns so that you can do this really quickly. I use Brutal 12-3 as an example. I'm going to show you what it's like to run Alice. For actually, let's do Kael first, because I haven't really changed much as far as this. Kael used to be my previous campaign wave farmer, and I'm going to do this here because we do need to level up some characters a little bit. I want to show you how long it takes me to run on Kael. So, okay, my Kael might still be able to wave clear pretty fast, but I have a 6 red, so I didn't completely clear it. Kael's having to take multiple actions in order to get this done. What's the time over there? 12. This actually is pretty good. Okay, maybe it's not significantly different, but I also have a 6 red Kael, which you probably will not. I got a 3-star there. And I might have got a little bit luckier there. You're not going to have a 6 red probably like I did. So that was pretty quick, right? I'm not going to lie. Let's put in Alice, and the reason why she fills a very similar role in this kind of campaign wave clearing kind of aspect, but she goes above and beyond, which we're going to talk about with regards to her kit. So let's just chuck in some characters that I need to level up here. So do the same thing at running that again. And she does her Clockwork Cyclone. And this is her huge wave clearing ability. And what's really good about it is when she gets a kill, the timer resets. So she can do it again. Now, she can only do that once per match, which is why she's going into her basic A1 right now. And you're going to see other skills. But it comes back around super quickly. Like, it is a very, very fast clear. The best time that I have on this 12-3 is actually from Alice, 9 seconds, because the clock, I call it spin to win. Alice spins to win. This is, I think I took this from, like, have you ever played Diablo 2? Like the barbarians, that's kind of what it reminds me of. So let's talk about Alice's kit and what makes her so good, right? I want to start off with the passive, actually. So when this champion attacks, inflicts 3 more damage to each target for each turn remaining on all of their skills cooldowns, and then resets, this is important down here, resets the cooldown of one of the champion's skills that they kill each time they kill an enemy once per skill. So that means, like, if I killed somebody with Clockwork Cyclone, I'm going to get that back on cooldown. I'm going to be able to use it back to back again, but only once total. So once I've already done that, it doesn't allow me to do it again. I believe it's once per match, not once per round. I'm pretty sure, like, in general, or once per skill for the entire match, right? You're not going to be able to do it again back to back to back on different rounds. But this is really powerful as a wave clearing mechanic. Like, I just, like, decimated 12-3. And I can do this in Nightmare as well. She's really good for that. Now, Clockwork Cyclone, what does it do? It's an AoE attack. Has 75% chance of increasing cooldowns of all enemy skills by 2 turns. This is insane in Arena. You're probably seeing this already, right? Because she's 5 red, because she's a damage-based character, this is a really big skill for early players in Arena. Like, this is going to make a pretty significant difference if she can go before other characters. Also decreases some turn meter by 15% upwards to 30%, and it's on a low cooldown. Even if you don't have legendary books on her, it's a cooldown of 4. If you do have some, honestly, she was the first person that I put legendary books towards. I pretty much maxed her out, with the exception of Queenslayer, her A3. I do need to put that towards her eventually, I think, to get the -1 cooldown. That would be nice too. But she has just some really great skills. This ignores defense as well. Really hard-hitting damage-based character that you're literally getting for free for 5 red. And that is an insane part, because we need to talk about the blessings. Now, I run Brimstone. This is the Brimstone blessing that I personally recommend running because every PvE team needs one of these, and I'm using Alice everywhere. but the fact that she's 5 red means that it's going to be incredibly more powerful. The smite debuff basically means that anytime an enemy or a boss uses a skill that has a cooldown associated with it, it's going to drop a meteorite and do a crazy ton of damage. In clan boss, this typically, or in demon lord, this typically does about 250,000 damage. Like on most bosses, it's a pretty high amount. And because you're getting 5 red with Alice, you're getting a 60% chance of placing a protected smite debuff. The protectedness is actually really important, and a difference between 3 and 5 red, because that means it can't be removed. That's what protected means. And the stats are just absolutely crazy that you're going to be getting off of this from Alice. Now, the basic makes it really easy to apply, or the A1 to apply the brimstone debuff, because she can attack anywhere from 2 to 3 times per swing, which is really good. So if any of the enemies have active skills on cooldown, she's going to attack for 3 times instead. So really, really powerful and a really easy way to apply that brimstone. Also, Clockwork Cyclone, if you're hitting multiple targets, a very easy way to apply brimstone as well. So she really excels in just doing sheer amounts of damage. Now, she doesn't do any debuffs, I'll admit that, but her raw damage potential is so high, especially for a new player, that honestly, she's probably your main bet there. She's your best alternative. Sorry, not even an alternative. She is your main character, unless you have alternatives. Maybe you've pulled some sacred shards. Maybe you've gotten lucky on something else. Then maybe she won't be your primary character. But I'm about 2 months in, pretty much soon, and she has been my mainstay in almost every single game mode, which I do want to talk about. Now, Kael is really, really good too, just not as good as Alice. He doesn't do as much damage as Alice does, but is also really good in clan boss, which I still use Kael a lot in. Right, his poison debuffs are very, very powerful. He could land up to 4 or 5% poisons, very good in clan boss as well. So I just got super lucky with 6 red, and so my I have a bit of rose tinted glass. Is that it? My glass, so my perception of Kael will be different because I have 6 red on him, which I know the majority of players are not. So mine's kind of keeping up with Alice, but only because I have that 6 red. I imagine if I didn't have 6 red at all, if I didn't have any reds, Alice would be blowing him out of the water, right? So the fact that that Kael can still keep up a little bit with this is quite remarkable. But if I didn't, then it would be a whole different story. Now, as far as where I'm using Alice and why I'm everywhere. I'm using her in arena in every single game mode. I'm using her in clan boss, every single clan boss. Demon Lord, Hydra, Chimera. Hydra is very hard for for new players. I'm using her in Doom Tower. I'm using her in Cursed City. I'm using her in Faction Wars. I'm using her in dungeons. Which dungeons? Pretty much all of them, with the exception of I'm actually not using her in Iron Twins Fortress. Using her for every single keep. I'm using her for Minotaur. I am not using her for Ice Golem because I find that she's actually doing too much damage too quickly, and that became a detriment. I'm using her in Spider's Den. I'm using her in Dragon's Lair, Fire Knight's Castle. I haven't done too much of these other ones, but my point is that I'm using her absolutely everywhere. So, it's just so important that you get her up when you have her, especially if you're a new player that started within the last 2 months. If you're just getting Alice to 5 red, you're going to soon see how quickly and how powerful she is. She's definitely worth it to be your first 60, even if you have to wait a couple of days. If you're, say, within your first week of playing Raid Shadow Legends, then honestly, I would probably hold on to your 6-star stuff for when she unlocks, that you can get her to 60 first, because I think she's going to be your biggest priority, because she's going to spin to win for you, just like she's spin to win for me. I just wanted to share some of this with you guys because I think it's absolutely, it's really, really important that you do that. And I swear that you will make a lot of progress like I did. That there is going to be a free promo code, which I'll have here across the screen, Supreme6, which will get you a free legendary Supreme Gallic, really great Void champion that'll really help you start off your game. Also, there is going to be, of course, some more freebies and a free epic Zargala, who you can get by using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen, as well as, of course, Alice, who we've been talking about a lot lately, and Ugo, who you will get an account level 15. So that's 4 champions that you're going to get for your start in Raid Shadow Legends. An absolute amazing time to play. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.